We usually think of a stage drama as entertainment or instruction, but dramas that bring us face to face with inner conflicts, even personal demons, can also be a healing force. Our guests have applied that ancient and modern view of theater to many different settings as a kind of therapy. One of them has edited a book that brings together the experiences of several contributors. The title is The Heart and Soul of Psychotherapy, a transpersonal approach through theater arts. We'd like to welcome the artistic director of the Omega Theater, Saphira, Linden, and one of the contributors who's used the arts in healing after 9/11, the director of Parkside Arts and Health Associates, Phil Speiser. Thank you both very much for being with us.
It's a pleasure.
I want to start with Barbara Linden. You have put this book together with a number of people that you work with on a regular basis, but after your long career working in this field, why have the book?
Well, it really became time to share what a lot of these people who had gone through our training actually did in the world so that other people could use it. So we have examples, case examples. We have many different populations, all different ages, individuals, families, couples, also all kinds of community venues, from hospitals to nursing homes to disaster relief, like Phil did. We have transformational theater pieces that really express people's healing process so that others are inspired to look at those places in themselves and to have hope that it is possible to change and it is possible to heal.
Phil, right now, one of the places where you work is Whittier Street Health Center, but talk about the work you did after 9/11.
Well, like everyone, we were in shock. There was just a wealth of feelings of fear and distress, and so we put the word out that we would come out through, at that time, the Boston Institute for Arts Therapy, and offer support groups. And we would do that through what we know best is through the arts. And the response was overwhelming. We had over 30, 40 different schools, agencies, children, adults asking for just a safe place where they could talk and express their feelings. The result was what we called a living tree workshop for an hour and a half, where people both spoke and then were able to express their feelings on paper and through song. And it just created a wonderful support atmosphere for the community.
Well, some of us remember that historic event, and some of what comes out when you express yourself isn't always very nice.
Correct.
But it's still sacred. All feelings we teach are sacred and need to be worked with and honored before they can be transformed.
So in this and that's our trans-personal approach to drama therapy, where we honor even the most difficult of feelings, not to stay there, of course, but to then move through to a healing space. So in this Living Tree workshop, 9/11 was devastating for all of us. The trunk of the tree was the first part, and the trunk symbolized that part that can take negative feelings and awful feelings. And we would encourage people, just put it in there, into the trunk. It can hold it. The transformation becomes the branches, where we have hope and inspiration.
When people are honored in what their true experience is, when they're honored in the traumas they've been through, the abuse they've been through, when it's all brought out and it's not held as secret and terrible, they begin to see that they're not so different from the rest of humanity. We all have these challenges, and if we honor it, we can begin to work with it. And the arts are an incredible way to do that, and we also use a lot of meditative disciplines to help people really relax and learn how to come to their own center while they deal with their healing process.
Talk about some of the personal experiences that you've dealt with, maybe in some of the institutional settings.
Yes, well, in the book, I give the example of one man who I worked with who came to me with Tourette syndrome. He actually was very articulate about it. He was a representative on 2020 to talk about it. But when he came onto the stage to do a transformational theater workshop, which we call it, somehow he didn't have his tics, he didn't have the stuttering, he didn't have the swearing, a lot of the things that go with that syndrome. But he also had about 19 other maladies. And he was so identified with himself as someone sick with each of these things. And part of what we did was help him embody each of those maladies and then reverse roles, a psychodramatic technique, so that the malady talked to him and then he talked to the malady, and he began to make some distance between his own identity and the identity of having all of these various challenges health-wise that were extreme.
Phil, most of our viewers know how to get enthused about theater as a spectacle, but talk about what's going on when you're on the stage and you're performing. Because some people, am I being myself, or am I getting into being something different from myself?
Well, we're always ourselves. You know, we're always looking for that authentic expression. The beauty of the stage allows us to begin to express various feelings, and it allows us to explore various roles.
And trying on new roles. And
we try new roles, just like Shakespeare said, the world's a stage and everyone is an actor, to paraphrase. So the theater expression really allows for children, adults to practice new behaviors. So we work a lot with children that have a lot of challenges and are getting into trouble. Put those instances into dramatic scenes, and you're able to practice new behaviors also.
And in fact, there are two whole disciplines of therapy. One is called psychodrama, created by Jacob Moreno and Zerka Moreno. And another is called drama therapy, which includes psychodrama, but many other theater techniques used in the service of healing and education as well. And so these are disciplines that therapists and educators can learn in order to be more effective with the clients and students they serve.
Phil, I know Shakespeare is widely credited as a great psychologist of violence, and maybe healing too, but you've done some work around the arts in violence prevention. How does that work?
So the concept is quite similar again. With violence prevention, I was a member of Dorchester Community Service Collaborative for a number of years. I work in Dorchester, I work in Roxbury, I work in the city for my entire career here in Boston. So we gather a group of students, young adults. We start looking at the issues that are real. We say, what have you experienced? What have you seen? And we take those stories and we create scenes. And they become peer leaders for trying to keep our communities healthy, violence prevention programs. So
it's just so important for people to know that they're not alone in their worst traumatic, abusive, conditioning experiences. And when people get into a group and hear that person's story and that person's story, becomes, oh, I guess that's part of the human experience.
Chris, over at Whittier, we started a program called Decision Arts, and through the arts, making healthy decisions for young adults, young women who have been exposed to violence or seen too much awful things, through dramatic arts and through visual arts.
Saphira, we should mention if people want to delve into the book, find out more, is there a way they can do that?
Yes, they can go onto our website, www.omegatheater.org. They can also get it at Amazon and the various booksellers online.
Well, thank you both, Saphira Linden and Phil Speiser.
Thank you.
Thank you.